Hey, Dan here, and I'm responding to a question from Mike from my home country, Canada, about one of my videos on multi-level marketing. And I'll give you a bit. Mike wrote quite a long email, so I'll just share a little bit of it here. Hey Dan, I watched a couple quick videos with you. I like how you promote yourself as a coach and entrepreneur. Your attitude is perfect, your language is great, your focus on young people who also have a good mindset but are still looking is good. What I do dislike is that you put others down. It is not a good way to promote yourself. For example, you hate and make others hate network marketing system. What I don't understand, how is it possible to hate a system? You can hate some particular company, some particular products, but how is it possible to hate a particular marketing model? As a lot of you know, I have a particular dislike for network marketing, multi-level marketing, or good old pyramid schemes, whatever we want to call them. And I am well aware that this is not always a popular opinion. In fact, my videos on multi-level marketing are the only videos on my channel that have about a 50-50 like to dislike ratio and get all sorts of hate comments about my stupid face and how dumb I am and blah, blah, blah. So here's the thing, and here's why I don't walk a line in those videos and say, well, some companies could be good and some companies could be bad. I don't think all arguments should be given equal weight on things. It's like when you have these news shows where they're talking about climate change and they put on one climate expert who says there is climate change, and then one says there isn't. Probably a merchant of doubt working for some kind of energy companies. And you have these people debating and it presents an image like both sides are equally right. And I don't really think that's the right move because perception is very easy to manipulate, intentionally or not. I was in Belgrade a few months back and this woman came up to me in a park and she had some really crazy eyes, like, you know, like Carrie from Homeland times 30. And she asked me if I was aware of alternative cosmology. And right away I said, this is going to be the best conversation I've had in months. She even had a flyer. And I asked, is this about the Earth being flat? And she said, no, it's not. It's about an alternative way of understanding the universe. And I was like, this is amazing. So this flyer I got on this, I treated like gold and I gifted to, some of you may know him. I'm gonna do probably videos with him soon, but Fonseca of the Visual Politic channel on YouTube. And I left this for him when I was leaving Prague. I left this with a bottle of whiskey as his gift, this flyer, because it's so amazing. And one of the things in it is they even talk about cognitive dissonance, which is when basically you're so attached to your opinion that you dismiss alternative views. And I thought that was kind of amazing that they're using that with anyhow. So there are many ways of thinking. And if I was to do a video about the curvature of the Earth, I would not make it to consider both sides equally and give merit to both sides because that really risks being taken out of context, clips being used to say, look, you support this and all that. Now I will admit in the multi-level marketing world, there are companies that are just purely scam, pyramid schemes looking to drain people's money. A great podcast on this is called The Crypto Queen by BBC. It's an amazing podcast. The story is great and it's actually really, really insightful into how cults and multi-level marketing manipulate people and get good people who maybe are just really busy or not the most educated or just haven't come across these sorts of things before and how they manipulate people into it. The Crypto Queen, highly recommend that podcast. And my podcast. If you don't yet listen to podcasts and now you're downloading an app, also put in Dreams Around the World. Subscribe to that podcast. So I was saying, yes, there are some that are better. I have some Avon skincare product. My girlfriend's aunt does Avon, and for Christmas she gave me some, and I have to admit, they're pretty awesome, some of the products. I'm like, okay, I'm willing to admit there are companies that are not as brutal, but there's like 2 out of 10,000 or something like that. Now, your main question was, can you hate a system? Like, how could you say one system is bad, that you don't like that? And I'll tell you why, because you can look at the things associated with a system in the vast majority of cases and draw some level of conclusion. I'll give you an example, which is populist politics or identity politics. I don't need to look at the product, whether it's left, right, forward, back, whatever it is. I don't like any kind of politics that's really based on playing identity cards, that's based on populism, us versus them, and all that sort of thing. I think it's bad no matter what the product is. The product in that case would be the policies. I think that system of doing politics, basically, that system of how you manipulate people to get votes, your way of basically presenting yourself, stirring people against one another. I think that's bad regardless of what side of the whole thing that you're actually on. Cults are a similar thing, and maybe kind of similar to multi-level marketing while we're on the topic. There is basically a standardized procedure to start a cult and indoctrinate people. And yes, maybe a few of those cults are not as evil as others or whatever, but it's pretty established how they indoctrinate people, and it's the same thing. So whether at the end of the day it's like an LSD murderous sex cult happening in California in the 60s or an ayahuasca fueled sex cult happening in 2020, either way, it's the same system, the same thing. You find people who are really lost, who had a bad childhood, who don't feel loved, they're alone. You convince them that there's some great knowledge and savior and blah, blah, blah. And then you apply all this social pressure so people don't want to leave. And then you do your cult things, whatever it happens to be, whether it's branding people, murdering people, or selling vitamins to their friends and family. It's all the same kind of model. And with multi-level marketing, there are standard patterns that go with it. Promises of huge incomes and potential, when in reality, your average person would earn way more money with less work and less damaging of their relationships if they just took a sales job. They'd also probably learn to sell better with a proper sales job. There's these delusional beliefs about what you really are. Like you're this great entrepreneur who's building your own business. No, you're a commission-only salesperson acting as just that and nothing more. And honestly, if these multi-level marketing companies just said, hey, you're a commission-only salesperson, you work your own hours, if you have a bunch of friends and a wide network who likes to shower and needs shower gel, you can sell it to them and make a little money on the side. I'd have no problem with that. But that's not how they market, and we all know that they market based on huge promises and this false belief, like you're a great empowered entrepreneur, just give us $500 for your starter kit and blah, 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 right? And there's well-known, and this is covered in the Crypto Queen, that podcast I mentioned, which is a must listen to. It's well documented that there are many, many people, the top performers in multi-level marketing, who jump from company to company. They go to a new company, they bring all their followers, they sell all these people on this new dream, take all their money, they get rich, that company collapses, and then they move to the next one 6 months later. So yeah, in some cases, I do not mind having a bit of hate if it saves a lot of people I care about, you on the other end here of this camera, if it saves you from some pain and some headaches. And if it does cost me some clients, that Mike ended in his email, he was saying, I was about to refer my daughter to your programs, but I saw this video and I thought, no, I don't want to refer her to someone who thinks like that. I'm totally okay with that. I would much rather lose some clients than hold back on what I really believe and let people walk into a situation that can, in many cases, ruin one's lives. I'm actually going to do an interview, hopefully, if she agrees, I haven't asked her yet, with one of my free freelancer students who told us all on one of our group coaching calls the other month. She just told us about how she got dragged into a multi-level marketing thing. She brought all her friends and family in, and they went to this big event. They drove like 500 kilometers or something to this big conference. And fortunately, she's an INFP and she had enough intuition that when she got there, she just looked at the way like the speakers were talking and everyone was, and just said to her family and everyone she brought with her, like, I'm sorry, we need to go. This is my bad. But I see what's going on here now. This is some kind of weird cult type situation. Terrible mistake, lesson learned. So when I get that interview filmed, if she's up for it, I will include a link for that at the end of this video. I'm gonna link to a great John Oliver video on multi-level marketing where he can articulate some of the issues with it, perhaps better than me, and gets into a lot of the financial details and realities of these kinds of systems. If you wanna build a business, if you really wanna be an entrepreneur, what you have to do, you develop a great skill, you find a way to give value for people, and you have a business that makes sense that you can explain to a 5-year-old and that people hear, hey, yeah, I understand how that could work. That's what you do. You don't join the next big thing that's gonna happen and you're on the ground floor. That doesn't really work unless you're the one selling people on that BS. Thank you for watching. Sorry for the hate, but haters gotta hate sometimes, I guess, right? Catch you in the next video soon. Haters gotta hate, haters gotta hate, Say it, Gabby. What?
I'm cutting that part off.
You're gonna cut it off?
You gotta cut it off.
You don't like it? But that's kind of the joke of it, that I'm not actually a hater, but that I'm saying like, I'm a hater, because that's what, like on the MLM videos, people always say, you're such a hater, blah, blah, blah. They're usually all misspelled comments. So there you go. If you're watching these bloopers now, it's because Gabby is an amazing video editor, and haters gonna hate.